got to be 200 people in this room, especially the folks that
Yeah. Is this here? That's my
I don't know what she
Did you get a shot of those people over there? Those seats are also full.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. I'll take the call and then get the signs and show I'm right back. Thank you for seeing you.
You know.
Anybody want to meet?
Appreciate it. Thank you. Yep. They do want to be here. Thank you. 100%. Good seeing you. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing, test. There you go. Oh, wow. Just need to be re-signed. Before we get started, where's the sign-up sheet at for public comment? You got it there? Okay. So just a couple of things before we start the meeting. We're going to have a sign-up sheet going around. If somebody wanted to make public comment here at the end, we're going to just because of the volume of the people, we're going to have to do it this where we maintain this at some reasonable amount of time to let people be heard. But what we've got is he's got the sheet right now. If anybody else needs it, it's going to be going around the room there, and people can go ahead and feel free to sign up. Then we'll start to work through the list. If it's a situation where you decide at the end that your comment has been covered, you don't have to necessarily make a comment if somebody else already covered what you were about to say. But if you want to, just go ahead and circle that around, and then we'll be happy to hear your comment at the end. So, with that, if everybody could stand for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, Carolyn is here.
Yeah, he's over here. Thank you.
Testing.
Today's prayer is, Lord Jesus Christ, you are the way, the truth, and the life. Hear our prayer for truth and integrity in all segments of society today. May the truth be spoken by us and affirmed in others, that in seeking truth, the world will come to find you, the source of all truth. Amen.
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 Okay, on December 19th for financials, I approved appropriations transfers from the auditor's office. Sorry. On December 19th for financials, I approved appropriations transfers from the auditor's office in the ARPA to move funds to cover general fund payroll payments, and from the Planning Commission, supplemental appropriation and de-appropriations from JFS, the Sheriff, and Law Library to adjust accounts and funds to balance for year end. Vouchers included $25,000 from the ADP Board of Enco Government Software LLC in payment of an agreement to release all claims approved by the board to avoid litigation with the company regarding a service agreement. $13,295.79 from JFS to the ESC of the Western Reserve for October Teen Pregnancy Prevention Program costs. $8,503.40 from maintenance to the East Ohio Gas Company for utility bills at various county buildings, and a revenue certification and decertification from JFS in their Workforce Investment Fund for budgeted revenue that they had received in 2024 in order to balance out the fund for year end. And then on December 23rd, for maintenance, I approved hiring Robert Drotleff to the position of full-time custodian to be effective January 6, 2025 at the rate of $17.61 per hour with a one-year probationary period. The offer of employment was contingent upon the successful completion of the required pre-employment condition. Liquor licenses, I concurred with the Auburn Township trustees in not requesting a hearing on the liquor license being requested by Auburn Patio LLC, doing business as the Patio Bar and Grill, located at 10584 Washington Street, Chagrin Falls, Ohio. And I concurred with Montville Township trustees in not requiring a hearing on the liquor license being requested by Cantonese Country Store Incorporated, doing business as Cantini's Country Store, located at 9706 Madison Road, first floor only, Montville, Ohio. And again, on December 26th for maintenance, I rescinded the action from December 23rd that read approving hiring Robert Drotleff to the position of full-time custodian, be effective January 6, 2025, at the rate of $17.61 per hour with a one-year probationary period. The offer of employment was contingent upon the successful completion of the required pre-employment conditions. The gentleman received another offer for a job at a different location. Okay.
I'll just stand here, I think. I'll try and speak loudly.
Can you introduce yourself, everybody, before you speak?
Who you are.
I am Adrian Gordon. I'm the budget finance manager. I'm just doing today's financials.
Okay.
I come in and I go out really quick. Okay, today's financials include an appropriations transfer from the auditor's office in our ARPA funds to move funds to cover remaining projects in infrastructure, an appropriations transfer from the auditor's office in their ADP contract services fund to move money into equipment and into their REAF fund to true up salaries accounts for year end, a supplemental de-appropriation from the juvenile court and engineer to balance out various funds for year end. There's a cash transfer from the ADP Contract Services Fund to move unexpended funds from their operations with other outside government agencies into the general fund. And finally, revenue decertifications from the engineer and their stormwater funds for budgeted revenue that they did not receive in 2024 in order to balance out the funds for year end.
Make a motion to approve financials?
Second.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeVore?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Yes.
Okay, number 4 on the agenda is the Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute Resolution 24-220, authorizing the transfer of funds from the Geauga County Clerk of Court's 2010 Certificate of Title Administration Fund to the County General Fund. And this is the ARPA money that they used for their payroll that they're going to transfer back.
Very good. So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Lennon?
Aye.
Commissioner DeVore?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Shane Hajar with the Geauga County Engineer's Office. Item number 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 are the rescinding of motions from the December 17th meeting. One of the commissioners was not able to attend the entire meeting, so we're rescinding those 5 motions. Okay. Item number 5, the engineer's office is requesting the board rescind the motion from December 17th, 2024 that read, approve and execute resolution 24-212 to improve Fairmount Road, County Highway 16, section C through F in Russell and Newberry Township. Item number 6, engineer's office requesting the board rescind the motion from December 17th that read, approve and execute resolution 24-213 to improve Sperry Road, County Highway 12, sections B through G in Chester, Newberry, and Russell Township. Item number 7, engineer's office requesting the board rescind motion from December 17th that read, approve and execute resolution 24-214 to improve Gingrich Road, County Highway 34, section A in Burton Township. Resolution number 8, the engineer's office is requesting the board rescind motion from December 17th that read, approve and execute resolution 24-215 to improve the replacement of the Haskins Road Bridge, structure BR 191-0321 in Bainbridge Township. And resolution number 9, item number 9, excuse me, engineer's office requesting the board rescind the motion from December 17th to approve and execute resolution 24-216 to improve the various sections of county roads by applying pavement markings for the year 2025.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Lonan?
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Yes.
Thank you. Carrying on with reapplying for those motions, item number 10, the engineer's office is requesting the board approve and execute resolution 24-221 to improve Fairmount Road, County Highway 16, section C through F in Russell, Newberry Township.
So move.
Second.
Commissioner Lonan?
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Item number 11, the engineer's office is requesting the board approve and execute resolution 24-222 to improve Sperry Road, County Highway 12, sections B through G in Chester, Newberry, and Russell Townships.
So move.
Second.
Commissioner Lonan?
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Thank you. Item 12, county engineer's office requesting the board approve and execute resolution 24-223 to improve Gingrich Road, County Highway 34, section A in Burton Township.
Make the motion.
Second.
Commissioner Lonan?
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Item 13, the engineer's office requesting the board approve and execute resolution 24-224 to improve the replacement of Haskin Roads Bridge, structure 191-0321 in Bainbridge Township.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Commissioner Lonan?
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Item 14, the engineer's office requesting the board approve and execute resolution 24-225 to improve various sections of county roads by applying pavement markings for the year 2025.
So move.
Second.
Commissioner Lonan?
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Yes.
My last motion today, the item number 15, the engineer's office is requesting the board approve and release the maintenance bond of $50,000 and a paving bond, guarantee bond, $45,000, being held for the Hunting Valley Preserve subdivision in Chester Township, as the owner of record, NCR Ventures owner Rick Duty, has performed all pavement and maintenance guaranteed work as required. Hunting Ridge was accepted for snow and ice control by Chester Township on December 19th, 2017.
Okay, I'll make the motion.
Second.
Commissioner Lonan?
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks, Shane.
Hi, good morning. I'm Allison Covis, Planner 2, Geauga County Planning Commission. Number 16 on the agenda, the Planning Commission is requesting the board approve and execute the final plat for Arborwood subdivision, replat of sublot 1, creating sublot 1A and 1B. Sublots 1A and 1B will be both approximately 3.8 acres. It was reviewed and approved by all the required county offices and Munson Township, and it was approved at the December 10th, 2024 Planning Commission meeting.
Very good. I'll make the motion.
Second.
Commissioner Lonan?
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love markers for you guys.
Good morning, my name is Jessica Bolt. I'm the Director for the Geauga County Department on Aging. Number 17, the Department on Aging is requesting the board approve and authorize the President of the Board to execute the Western Reserve Area Agency on Aging State Fiscal Year 2024-2025 Medicare Improvements for Patients and Providers Act, NIPA, Medicare Savings Programs, Low Income Subsidy, and Prescription Drug Assistance through the Aging Network, State Health Insurance Program, SHIP, and Aging and Disability Resource Centers Grant Agreement for the period September 1st, 2024 through August 31st, 2025 in the amount of $6,791.90. This contract was received, the final draft December 12th of this year, even though it does go back to September 1st, 2024. And this does reimburse our staff when we provide benefits and application assistance to individuals applying for the Medicare Savings Program, as well as when we do advocacy in the community for Medicare Savings Programs.
Okay, I'll make the motion.
Second?
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Kathleen Miller with Department of Water Resources. First item is an MOU to secure some funding that has already been allocated for water resources for our McFarland wastewater treatment plant upgrade project, resolution number 24-004. So we are asking the board to approve and execute the memorandum of understanding regarding obligation of SLF-RF funds between the commissioners and the Department of Water Resources in a not to exceed amount of $5 million.
Okay, so move.
Second?
Commissioner Lennon?
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
19 is similar. It's requesting the board to approve and execute the memorandum of understanding regarding obligation of SLF-RF funds between the commissioners and water resources for the Services Center drinking water system upgrades identified in resolution number 24-148 in a not to exceed amount of $1 million.
Okay, make the motion to approve.
Second?
Commissioner Lennon?
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Number 20, this is our annual request for the board to approve the submission of a list of delinquent sewer user fees, water fees, tap-in installments, and subsequent certification to the Geauga County Auditor in accordance with ORC 1667.02 and the Geauga County Department of Water Resources Rules and Regs, Section F.501, in a total amount of $599,447.73.
So move.
Second?
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
The next are all service contracts we'd like to get approved for, to be effective January 1st of 2025. First one, number 21, is for Swift First Aid. They refill our first aid kits in various areas in a not to exceed amount of $2,500.
So move.
Second?
Commissioner Lennon?
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler? Aye.
The next item is for Hannon Electric, who provides electrical work for us for our motor and blowers, and that one is in a not to exceed amount of $5,000.
So move.
Second?
Commissioner Lennon?
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Next item is National Pump and Process. They perform pump maintenance for us in a not to exceed amount of $5,000.
Okay, so move.
Second?
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Next vendor is McFarland Equipment Company, performs generator and equipment services for us at both wastewater and water district locations in a not to exceed amount of $10,000. That's $6,000 for wastewater and $4,000 for water.
So move.
Second?
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Next one is for Geauga Door Sales and Service, who prepares door repairs, both wastewater and water district, not to exceed amount of $10,000. That's $5,000 for wastewater, $5,000 for water district.
So move.
Second?
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Next one is for Tim Frank Septic Tank Cleaning, who performs emergency sludge hauling and Vector services in a not to exceed amount of $5,000.
Okay, so move.
Second?
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
The next one is for Auburn Fence Corporation, who does fence repairs and replacements for water and wastewater, not to exceed amount of $15,000. That's $10,000 for wastewater, $5,000 for water.
So move.
Second?
Commissioner Lennon?
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Next one's Emery Electric, who provides electrical repairs for water and wastewater, not to exceed amount of $45,000. That's $30,000 for wastewater, $15,000 for water.
So moved. Second.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Next one's Buckeye Power Sales, who also does generator repairs for other types of generators that we have, and they are for wastewater and water district locations, and a not to exceed amount of $20,000, $15,000 for wastewater, $5,000 for water.
So moved. Second.
Commissioner Lennon?
Aye.
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Aye.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
The next one is for Workman Industrial Services, who performs emergency rehabilitation improvements as needed at wastewater locations, and that contract is not to exceed $50,000.
So moved. Second.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Commissioner Spiller?
Aye.
Next one is for Cleveland Tree and Stump. They do various tree removal services as needed for wastewater and water locations, and a not to exceed of $35,000. That's $30,000 wastewater, $5,000 water.
So moved. Second.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Commissioner Spiller?
Aye.
Next one is Sunrise Springs Water Company. They provide iron filter and water softener installations and required maintenance. That one is a not to exceed $5,000.
Okay, so moved. Second.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Commissioner Spiller?
Aye.
Next one is Mac Industries, who performs various repairs for us, and that one is a not to exceed $15,000, $10,000 for wastewater, $5,000 for water.
So moved. Second.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Commissioner Spiller?
Aye.
Next is Jaga Coatings, who performs concrete leveling and coating services, and that's a not to exceed of $25,000.
Okay, so moved. Second.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Commissioner Spiller?
Aye.
Okay, the next is we're asking the board to approve and execute an agreement between the commissioners and Gloss, Pyle, Schomer, Burns, and DeHaven Incorporated DBA GPD Group for engineering services. This is as needed at various locations in a not to exceed of $25,000.
Okay, I'll make the motion. Second.
Commissioner Lennon?
Aye.
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Commissioner Spiller?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
They're in the hallway.
Hey, Adrian, you mind grabbing the people from the Fair
Fair
Board?
Board.
I think Howard.
They're outside
Howard
of
was out
chambers
there.
in the hallway.
In the meantime, to keep things going, let's move to number 17, or 37. Jerry, if you want to.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Wanted to make sure I could be heard, so. This is the engagement letter with Squires, Patton and Boggs for 2025 to do the beer bond council, to deal with any of the financial issues. This is just the annual agreement we get with them.
Okay. Very good, I'll make the motion to approve. Second.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Commissioner Spiller?
Yes.
Okay. The next item is a engagement letter with Myers, Roman, Friedberg, and Lewis. This is out for outside counsel as we need, as needed during the year when the prosecutor's office is not able to provide service.
Okay, I'll make the motion. Second.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Commissioner Spiller?
Aye. All right, Howard, Jim, if you want to come up to the podium here, just, we're having some technical difficulties with the speaker system, sound system, so just speak as loud as you guys can, just to kind of go over a couple of things. Yeah, this cord is not going down. So this is going to be the Geauga County Fair Board. And we've got discussion regarding a poultry building that we had on the agenda a couple weeks ago for discussion, where there was a $750,000 approval that we had approved. and there's just going to be a little bit of further discussion of some clarity of what we're looking to do, so.
On behalf of the Fair Board and Wendy and thank you, I'll see you later. So we just, on behalf of the Fair Board, we'd like to thank you, the commissioners, for supporting the 4-H and the Fair Board. So we're looking for a little bit of clarity. We know we presented one barn, and as we've done some research and done some design, we have to get to construction drawings, and we have to decide what and how exactly we're gonna do it. You'll see that little presentation I presented to the Fair Board last meeting. The original that Meg had at your last meeting, that was our last meeting, was one building, 14,400 square feet. The sale barn was in the front, poultry barn was in the back. We're looking to see, can we entertain the idea of doing two buildings? One is still the poultry, one is still the sale barn, same square footage, same money, but with the grades, with the building permit, with the soil samples, with the soil test, we need to see what are we allowed to do. So it's a little bit of clarity, a little bit of clarification of, what's our options.
So, it was my understanding from when I sat down and worked through this with you guys originally, and we discussed it, and then when we came to the board for the approval, my position is that we are going to transfer $750,000 to the Fair Board to be able to utilize for this project. We basically feel that the board is best served to figure out how this project should be done. If it's one building or two buildings, should not really have any bearing on what we're doing as far as the supplemental that we gave you guys to be able to maintain that building. So I appreciate the clarification and the transparency that the Fair Board is having with this, but on my behalf, I feel that I totally understand where you're coming from as far as, if the two building makes sense, and some of the points that you guys have brought up makes sense to possibly look at that option, but on my position here, it's just, we needed to improve the quality of the poultry buildings at the fairgrounds, and this is just an absolute major step to getting that done.
Yeah. And just to clarify, there are pros and cons to both, so we're still internally deciding what to do. So there's not 100%, but there are pros and cons, and it is a good problem to have. Our poultry division for the 4-H kids is just blowing through the roof. It's almost double what we have now. It's a desperate need. So again, thank you, but we're still, Jim, I don't know if Tim, if you guys, that's a condensed version, but it's just, what are our options?
Yeah, Jim, and we talked the other day, and I kind of reiterate what Commissioner Spitaleri just said. The way I see this is, although this is county property and it's technically under the commissioners, the Fair Board has always been the one that has taken care of that property over the years and planned for it. So, although we are a part of this process and helping fund it, I believe it's really not our job to micromanage it either. So, I'm in support of that idea of just transferring the funds to the Fair Board, and I know you and your board will trust to come out with the right result. So,
thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a past 4-H advisor. Spent a lot of time at the fair, and donated some concrete work at the hog barn and everything else years ago. But
you got a poultry barn that needs some concrete, Jim. Get it while you can, right?
I have to get the tools out of the basement.
I didn't know if there was are we clear? Are we good?
Yeah.
You need a motion, or what do you, Jerry, I don't know what you needed, or?
What we will need to do is, we'll have to amend the previous resolution because it referenced a single building. So we'll have to amend that to just be for the dollar amount, and then the determination of the type of building would be down the road.
Well, let's do that now then.
They're not,
We don't have a resolution
they're not
prepared.
prepared, so we will have to,
Okay.
we will have to go back to the prosecutor's office to revamp the request to establish the new fund because they
Oh, I see.
specifically did it to the 14,000 square foot building. So I guess at this point, it would just be, the Fair Board's gonna have to determine, to make a decision on their end, what they're going to do. And then we would have to revamp whatever is needed.
We can put together amend the resolution so that, at the next meeting, the board can approve an amended resolution that doesn't reference a single building, but references the 14,000 square foot facility. Yeah, so.
Yep, and thank you for what you guys do, truly.
Thank you.
Yep, appreciate it.
Thank you for all the communication.
We are back to number 39.
Okay. You want to cover 39, Jerry?
Yeah, for 39, this is just the Commissioner's Office is requesting the board approve and authorize the county administrator the authority to execute in case of a lack of quorum of commissioners and/or if session is canceled on the regular financial day or on a day when financials need to be approved, the required approvals for county financials on behalf of the board during the year 2025 as authorized under ORC 305.30, and which duties shall be performed under the direction and supervision of the commissioners.
Make the motion?
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner Borat?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye. Okay. Christine, do you want to cover the meeting schedule, or do you want to?
Yeah, I just, I had set up the tentative meeting schedule and sent it all to you for continuing on Tuesday mornings at 9:30, but just making adjustments for holidays, so if the meeting would fall like on a Monday or Tuesday, then with the holiday, it would shift to a Thursday. And then just adjustments for that, including the addition of session at the fair, like we typically do for the opening day of the fair, and then around the holidays.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
I'll defer to you, Commissioner DeBorak.
Yeah, in that motion, the meetings will stay at 9:30?
Yes.
Okay. I make the motion.
I'll second.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeBorak?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye. Okay.
And then I can send that out to the auditor's office so they can plan on having the financials.
Okay, number 41 is going to be our work session, but before we get into that, because that's just going to be a little bit of just house cleaning and, you know, some move forward stuff for us, and we welcome everybody to stay here and listen. But what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we're just going to go and take some comments now, start to take some comments on the amount of, you know, people that have reached out to both me personally, our office. I'm sure the other commissioners have probably gotten quite a few calls. I guess to start this off, and you know, I really appreciate the fact that everybody is here this morning, and just the incredible show of support and the care for what you guys are here and what you believe in. This is you know, truly a moving moment for us to see, because of the fact that you guys care, and I understand that. And I think that this is a very good step in the right direction of basically, we work for you, and your taxpayers here truly are the ones that assist us in making decisions of what's the right thing to do, what's the wrong thing to do. And I understand there's rules, regulation, and laws that we have to follow, but at the end of the day, we still look for impact from the residents of this county on what, you know, the feelings of the county and the residents that are here, of what they feel that is a good forward motion for us to look to do to serve the county better. When I say serve the county better, that doesn't just mean people, it means our four-legged furry friends also, and I get that. So I'm, you know, I do appreciate what you guys are here to do. Last week was a little bit difficult for myself because of the fact that it was something that I really did not have knowledge that issue was going to come up. And I apologize to everybody in the room also, because of the fact that if there's an issue with one of our employees, and the dog warden is under the commissioner's hiring authority, under 13 years of me as commissioner here, I can tell you that when there's an issue like that, that is normally handled, whether it's an executive session or it's handled by our county administrator in his communication with all the commissioners on that, of what the situation is. This situation here pretty much hit me that morning when I saw that this agenda item had been placed on the agenda. I believe Commissioner Dvorak had requested that to be put on there, and it was one of those things that I stand firm in saying that is not how to conduct business, and it's. This should have been addressed in a whole different matter. If there's a problem, let's fix it. Let's not try to do something that is going to just try to put a political play in place to try to direct public opinion.
Yeah.
So with that, I'm going to go ahead and. I guess I'll give the opportunity to the other two commissioners if there's anything that they would like to say before we start to move forward in the questions and questions or statements that you may have. What I want to do is I want to try to restrict the timing to this, just based on respect to everybody. I know that everybody's got schedules too. Is if we could just try to keep it to about a two minute talk. I think that that's more than enough for people to be able to express their position, their concern, their voice on this, and then we could go ahead and move forward from there. So with that,
I want to say something. Good morning, everybody. I handled it a little bit incorrectly.
Yeah.
But just the backstory on that, in April there was a private meeting with Matt, Administrator, Sheriff Hildebrand, and Tom Rowan, the Chief Deputy. So I get a phone call from Sheriff Hildebrand, says, "Hey Jim, what are you doing next week at Wednesday at 2 o'clock?" And I go, so I looked at my calendar and I says, "Yeah, that's fine." I said, "What's going on?" He says, "Can you come to a meeting?" I says, "Well, what's it all about?" And he says, "Well, it's about the dog ward." I said, "Oh, okay." So he said that he got an email from our administrator stating, well, his request was to have at least one commissioner at that meeting because there was a communication problem between the dog warden and the sheriff's office. So he said he got an email from our administrator stating that he contacted all the commissioners and nobody could make it at that day and time. And that's what the sheriff told me. So I didn't get contacted by the administrator, and so I attended the meeting. And I walked in, I think I told Jerry, I said, "Well, I heard about the meeting, so I just showed up." And it was heated, little swear words, little cuss words here and there, but it was private. So promises made, some promises not kept, between the communication between the sheriff's office and the dog warden. So Hildebrand says everything was fine and dandy, everything got better for 3 or 4 weeks, and then it just went back to response time and things like that. And then it was just, and that was a communication problem. So nothing was fixed. Nothing was better. So I figured, well, and I lost sleep over it because I consider Matt my friend. I was my granddaughter was on the Totally Dogs 4-H club, 4-H advisor for 15 years. If I've been to one, I've been to 15 or 20 fundraisers through the Totally Dogs or anything else for the dog shelter. I'm a firm believer that the dog shelter works, and under the Ohio Revised Code, every county has to have a dog shelter. So there will always be one in Geauga County, and there should be one in every county in this state of Ohio. So that's what led up to this. And I just figured having another private meeting wouldn't resolve anything. And if you upset our sheriff, he's calm, meek and mild-mannered, he handles things very professionally, but for him to be upset last Tuesday was, to me, it was a serious matter that the communication has broke down. That's why I brought it to the open session, because it wasn't getting fixed, it wasn't getting managed to make communications better. So that's why I did it. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and I think, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but today's my last meeting officially as a commissioner, and I thought this was a big surprise party for me today. Shucks, yeah. And I think what this has done, and I agree with what Commissioner Spitaleri said, you know, it's definitely not the way you conduct business with a public employee out front like that, and just to string them up and throw accusations at them without any backing or any facts done yet. And I think two things can be right at the same time. I agree with the county sheriff that he has he has responsibilities that he needs to take care of, and he has a job to do. And if those things aren't happening the way that he sees fit, that's a problem. So, but at the same time, I believe that the dog warden and his responsibilities go beyond just responding to the sheriff's office or police departments across the county. They do a lot of other things. I mean, I think you can tell just from the turnout today, the gigantic volunteer group behind the Geauga County Dog Shelter and the dog warden and the work that they do is just great. Now, one thing that over the years, and this is my 8th and final year. I'm not seeking re-election, but you know, one thing I'd always ask in budget hearings with the dog warden was, are you sure you do not need more resources? Because I don't think it's a thing necessarily. Sometimes we're always looking to, we're always looking to find ways to reduce taxpayer input in that. With the dog warden, you know, that is a unique situation where they have taken care of their own existence in a way, with fees and fines, and then donations. I mean, the donations are unbelievable that come in on a yearly basis from anywhere from, you know, people's estates when they pass away. They have it in their wills. I mean, it's a serious thing. And so I've always asked, is there more that we can do to help the facility? And maybe that's a spot where, you know, in hindsight, you know, we've had this building go on, fabulous building, but that's something that should have probably been addressed. You know, the facilities itself. And I've always asked, is this enough revenue, or is this enough budget for the dog warden to operate year in and year out? And I think they've always taken pride in being able to somewhat exist on their own. So again, I think what's as of today, I think there's more questions than answers right now. I will not be a part of that process moving forward as far as the decision making. That will fall to this board moving forward with a new commissioner that will need to decide what the best path forward is, and I think they will do that. As a taxpayer, as a lifelong resident of Geauga County that's lived here, born here, parents here, my kids are being raised here, I'm not going anywhere. You know, I do not see the need to throw the baby out with the bathwater in this particular case. So, but that being said, it does sound that there are some issues that need to be addressed, and how to do that is going to need to be researched and then figure that out. So. But again, thank you so much for everybody coming in today. This is fantastic. I know, you know, my phone's been blowing up, but I didn't realize how many people would actually show up today. So this is fantastic. So you should all be proud of yourselves. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to start with the list here. Amy.
Yeah, don't try. Just say it.
Yes.
With due respect to my commissioners and my bosses, if you don't, Do I gotta use this? I'm sorry.
Microphone?
I'm sorry. I'm just overwhelmed. Is this working?
I don't think it's up.
I'm sorry. Oh,
Matt, you wanna grab this one?
I don't know.
Here.
Can we get that over here?
Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me? I'm just overwhelmed. I've been doing this for 30 years in Lake County and in Geauga, and in Cleveland APL, where I met Amy from Paws, and haven't seen you in years. I've never come to I have a prepared speech that I'm probably not even going to read that much, and I'm going to try to because I want to get through it. I have a high school diploma. That's all I got. I have. I'm a guy that got thrown in at the Lake County Humane Society, making $4 an hour cleaning kennels, and I moved on and expressed and became the chief animal cruelty officer in Geauga in Cuyahoga County for 8 years, and that's where I met a lot of people in the media and in there. And during that time, I probably investigated and charged in cruelty, more than anyone in the state of Ohio. Helped Dick Goddard make the Goddard laws during that time. I testified, as some people see, with that is to get rid of gas chambers in county-run facilities. Something that most people don't understand it even existed in our world. I continue to strive to try to help as many animals and as many people as possible. And, I understand. Like, I respect. Hello.
It's probably the wireless mic.
It's not. Wireless, you guys have
It's the wireless mic that you were trying to use first.
Oh, it's back on.
You turn that off. Okay. Like losing my train of thought. The biggest thing is that I want to come out of this is I respect the Geauga County Sheriff. I think what they do, and I think Scott Hildebrand, I think Tom, and I've told him this before, we have difference of opinions on how to run these cases that we see. We have difference of opinions that happen. In April, we did have a meeting, and it was a little heated, and it was a discussion of what the office of the sheriff and some of the police officers believe that we can do and we can enforce on state law. There are issues that they have in situations. They're trying to help the people. And while they're trying to help the people, we're trying to deal with the dogs. We're trying to both work together in situations where their statutory duties and my statutory duties sometimes collide, where taking a dog out of a house is absolutely what I want to do. I have zero problem with not refusing to take that dog out of the house. But I got to look at the rights of the people. I got to look at the rights of this county to protect humans from overzealous ability to unilaterally decide what dogs I take and what dogs I can't. And it's a very difficult task. Their staff is amazing. And even with the prosecutor's office, whatever happens, I want to mend these relationships that apparently are strained. And, Jim, and I want to mend the relationship with you. When you sit there and say that in April, and I wasn't going to talk personally because these things are behind closed doors, but again, it's been brought up again, a closed door meeting that you guys are hearing, that I'm hearing for the first time.
You know, and one of the things that's difficult is in that meeting, after the sheriff left, that heated discussion, you, me, and Jerry were in that meeting and we discussed, and I said to you, I said, Jim, if you want me to take these dogs, the sheriff does, you're my boss. I will take them, no problem. But understand that if I take them, you're liable for it, and don't hang me out to dry when a dog dies that's not there. Let me finish, because this is it. And you agreed for me not to take those dogs. You said fix the problem, did you not? Fix the problem, get this solved. That's what we left that meeting on. And I was very much, you're gonna see, I was very much involved in it. When we talk about that email that I have, that I will share, it's a public record, obviously anyone can request it, that email to the commission, to the prosecutor was, help me, I'm a high school graduate. Help me know what the law is. I've been doing it for 30 years and this law does not give me the authority. This law gives me very limited cases that I can actually seize a dog. The only 2 times I can legally seize a dog in the state of Ohio as a dog warden is an unlicensed dog that someone has over 3 months of age and a dog running at large. And even then there's issues because a dog being a hunting dog, I'm still not allowed to take. They're allowed to let that dog run. So I've been battling this battle, and I feel like no one's listening to my problems, and no one wants to tell me what to do. I just want an answer. If they want me to pick up every dog in the county, I've told you this, and everyone here who knows me, I'll go spend 24 hours a day living at that shelter for all I care. You know, and if you guys choose to have the sheriff take over, I believe heartedly, and I'm going to say it, is the sheriff's people and deputies are going to still do a good job. And when this is all said and done, my life will be changed forever, which it already has. And it's just difficult that the politics have gotten involved in a dog shelter.
Yeah.
And you know, I worry. I worry that, you know, what's going to happen even if the shelter stays? Am I going to start getting accused of other stuff? Because I know that my family's been called, my friends have been called. Some people have told me you should just resign, you should get an attorney. And I was coming here today, honestly, to say, listen, they won. Let them. It's really, there's 2 other rooms of people out there. I'm going to give you a story of what we have, and I want to make sure that, you know, these issues we have, that I think we can mend. I really do, and I really hope that we can continue it. I've talked to Commissioner Brakey, and I think she's an amazing woman. I think that, you know, I support her, and I apologize that you got to go through this in the next week of a difficult task. Truly understand and respect if you change decisions. I think it's a wrong decision. I think that it will hurt the community. I think it will hurt the shelter. I think it will hurt the dogs. So some of the things that I've heard is that I said the F-bomb, and I did. I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to say it. Someone says, I know, but I got to say it. You know, I said it 4 times in this county, in this community, and now in front of channel stations and all this overwhelming stuff. I was saying it because that's what I was told on the phone. Doing my job and doing it in a way that I thought was the best way in the situation, making a mistake. My deputy made a mistake in that case. No one else got hurt. The dogs still went through the process that we had to do, and the dogs still got taken care of. The victim was never in harm's way after the incident happened. And we have problems. We know it. Again, I'm going to make as many mistakes as everyone else, but we then review it and we keep moving forward. The lack of communication and the lack of just coming together is really difficult, and I know that it's been pushed on me that it's my lack. The emails that I've sent, the requests that I'm asking for, I need help. I do. I really do need help. You know, I need support. I need support from my bosses. If this was a serious problem, you know, and you say, and I'm not looking to that, but after a few weeks you let it go away and you never call me again. Never once. If you knew this problem was going on, if you knew this was as bad as it was, that the sheriff was going to come up in front of the public and say, Matt, I want your job and I want you gone because you're not doing a good job. And that's what he said, whether you say it or not. You knew that was going to happen. And I still don't feel bad. And I still appreciate you, because if I stay here, I got to work for you, and I will continue. And I will continue to then tell me what you want me to do. If you don't want me to take dogs from out of county, I won't. Whatever it is. It's not my decision to make, gentlemen, and well, I guess you're the public, so. No, do not get rid of anyone. I think there are fabulous players. Don't, you know, new Commissioner Brakey was wonderful in talking to me, and I think she has my support in whatever decision she makes. So do not, please, do not say it, and all that. We'll find out January 7th, I guess. But the situations that happen, let me give you one more situation, because I have 4 Great Danes that are at my shelter, skin and bones. Let me finish, but because this isn't something that it is, but this is more pertinent to what is happening in this county. Jerry Morgan was informed of it last night. The sheriff called at 11 o'clock last night, or 11 o'clock yesterday morning, saying that there was a dog that was hit by a car, a stray dog in Middlefield. So we went out to the call, or I did, with his sheriff deputies, who are wonderful guys. They love animals and all that. When we got to the scene, the dogs went back into the house and the door was closed. The sheriff said there might be a dog injured, and the smell was atrocious. And they said that, you know, there might be a dead person in there. And I said, well, I'm here. I'll definitely support you. I'll definitely. There's body cam footage of the disastrous of the house. Some of the 2 deputies said it was the worst that they've seen. So I went in there, and there's 4 Great Dane dogs, 2 adult dogs and a puppy. One was sitting in the back corner, and you know, I went in, moved the dogs out of the way for the sheriff deputies. They went in, did their investigation. You know, there was a closed room, as the sheriff say. They can't go in because there's no statutory duty to break that door down, which, you know, we didn't. So, you know, again, they have rules that they got to follow. And they said, what do we do now? And I said, well, this becomes a humane case. Should be the humane officer. So they said, so what are we going to do? I said, I called dispatch back and I said, page the Humane Society. Get the humane officer out here. I can't take these dogs. And now you're going to hear that I can, because I can go get a warrant. And I could go get a warrant. Ohio law allows me in one situation that if I see animal abuse or neglect, that I can go back, write a warrant out, go to a common pleas judge, which I've never done before, get them to sign off, and then go back out to the location. Well, those dogs did not need that and did not have the time. So what we do is, in all our cases, call the humane officer, get him out here to do the investigation. And I believe that is, I never got a call back, you know, and I finally called Andrea, who is a great lady at Rescue Village. She does awesome. She's taken some of our dogs this year for adoption that we haven't been able to adopt. And she said, well, under Ohio Revised Code 955-12, you guys can do animal cruelty. And I think to myself, you know my code that well? I know the code, and I'm hoping some of these reporters have their legal to see where in the code that I can do it. So I took those dogs because those sheriffs said, again, what are we going to do? I said, well, I'm going to take them back to my shelter. This is one where I say is a violation, is a possible liability situation that we took. Now, we took under a premise of any human has a right to protect the dog, so we do have taken them there. But if this had to go to legal court, a prosecutor will eat it alive and get the charges from this owner dropped. I then took the dog, the one dog. Rescue Village called me and I said, I got these 4 dogs. I said, what do you guys want me to do with them? And they said, well, you can do the investigation. I said, well, so do I take them to my shelter? What do I do with them? And they said, yeah, take them to your shelter. So I did. So they're at my shelter right now. And I took the one, Marsha McKinney from Burton Vet. I hate to kill her because she's in the other room or throw her on the spot. Last night, she put numerous amount of stitches in the one dog. The dog's probably going to lose its leg. And we're going to treat it, and we're going to take care of it. And we're going to do whatever it takes to keep those dogs alive. In that situation, I've tried to contact the owner to at least turn over custody of these dogs so we can do something for him. I've just learned that he called my office about 2 weeks ago and asked for help. He's going through serious problems and he has these 4 dogs. So I found out that he did call us and we referred him to Rescue Village, who takes owner pet dogs. I'm yet to hear whether or not he called Rescue Village and what the situation is. I didn't know the situation was that dire. I would have took him in myself or called a rescue club to help this gentleman out and all that. These are the cases that we're dealing with, and I'm not saying this to hate anyone or go after anyone. The sheriff's deputies, oh, by the way, there was a cat in the house. I don't do cats, I'm sorry, but the sheriff deputies, and that's the worry, the sheriff deputies go, what do we do with a cat? I said, that's a humane agent. I can't even do cats, so don't even, in some of these cases, there's a dog and a cat. I don't know, do we call 3 people out here to investigate that one? These are issues that, as he's saying in this meeting, are very pretentious to me because I don't want to hurt a dog. I don't want to do this. And I certainly do not want to take away for the sheriff's responsibility because they are amazing people. And I'm not going to say that enough to you guys. I apologize for what I said in Facebook and in this. The sheriffs know because these deputies, Deputy Smith, Sergeant Smith, great gentleman. He's called me up in the middle of the night to help him out. Eric downstairs, when you see that deputy sheriff, amazing guy, love him. He, met his daughter and just, I have these relationships. I just think that the higher political people need to let us do our job in the lower level and let us do our job. And that's all I will hand out this because it's a totally different thing, but that's all I have to say. You're going to probably hear accusations thrown about me because I just feel this is still going to be political. And I hope that you guys can see through whatever it is that is going to happen. And I hope to continue, and I hope that we can have a great relationship. If the sheriff calls me right now, let's go out and solve this problem. And let's just quit worrying about who and what and why and get these answers solved. So thank you very much.
I'm sorry.
He's a tough act to follow. For those of you who do not know who I am, can you hear me? Yes. I have people often say, quiet down, Amy. I'm the executive director of Paws, Ohio. I have been for 20 years, but I've been in humane work for much longer. Is it on? For much longer. I worked with Dick Goddard. We passed Goddard's Law, hospital safety. And as Dick said, before I go to that big theme park in the sky, he wanted to see it passed, and he did. I'm saying all of this to say that partnerships are important, okay? Is Hope in the room? I hope was the executive director of Rescue Village for 13 years. So I did a lot of work with Rescue Village during that time, a lot of partnering. I'm also a resident here, just so you know. I don't live anywhere else but here in Geauga. And what I have seen over the last few weeks has been very disturbing. I do not support, I like Scott Hildebrand, but I do not support the sheriff taking over this shelter. I've spoken to the incoming new commissioner. I've spoken to the sheriff. I had a long conversation with him. Matt, and I call them the ladies, but Cindy, Patty, you know them. They have put their heart and soul into this. They know what they're doing. And if Matt is already saying to you out here in the public, listen, give me some direction. I've been doing this 30 years. But we live in a litigious society, okay? We really do. And recently, Goddard's Law actually came under attack for the one word called kept. No matter where a dog or cat is kept, okay? A guy in Cuyahoga County threw bleach on a cat and killed the cat. He was charged, he went to jail, but he took this all the way to the Ohio Supreme Court, challenging Goddard's Law because it was a stray that got into his basement and he didn't keep the cat. It was not kept. Well, he lost, okay? Yeah. But I say this to say that we live in a litigious society, and Matt doesn't want to see Geauga sued, doesn't want to see himself sued, wants to protect the people that he works with. Listen, I've been doing this a long time. I've been in a lot of shelters. We partner with Humane Society of the United States as an emergency placement partner, but hands down, Geauga Dog Warden Shelter is the best shelter, dog warden shelter I have ever been in all of my years. And quite frankly, Matt is the best dog warden I have ever worked with, and I support him. When I spoke with the sheriff, I said, Sheriff, let's work this out. Let's solve this. How can we solve this? And this is what I asked. Give Matt a year. Give him a year. Have you disciplined him? Do you have a paper trail? The answer was no. Yep. Give him a year. Partner with him. Actually, if you're going to partner with Rescue Village, if you replace Matt, no. But if you were going to partner with them, understand that, and I spoke, and Carolyn, she knows what I said, they're already on a wait list. So though, I wouldn't be surprised if the owner of those 4 Great Danes didn't call and say, I need help, and didn't get a call back. And I'm saying this as the director of the Humane Group that has said, listen, we do not have room. What county are you again? Geauga. Call Rescue Village. I already have. Did you hear back? So the answer is either yes, I did, and I'm on a wait list for 6 weeks from now, or no, I did not get a call back. So if you're going to partner with Rescue Village, know that from the beginning. They are not serving these residents already. Okay, so, and they know it. These residents know it. So my suggestion And trust me, in the big scheme of things, I'm really nobody. But I am somebody that loves these animals. And the continuity of care with this shelter in this great Geauga County.
Turn your mic off.
This great Geauga County. Do not throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Okay, we want to try to, and I appreciate everything you said, Amy, thank you. What we would like to try to do is let's try to keep it to about 2 minutes. I'm going to try to maybe have Christine here do a little bit of timing just so that we could hear everybody, or I think we'll probably be here till 11 o'clock tonight, so, but, okay.
You were next.
Lisa, come on. Tim, do you want to use this? This one here is too short. I give her this. Sorry. I don't know if that died or not.
Hello? Hi, my name is Lisa Lowry, and I'm a volunteer at the shelter. I've lived in Geauga County since 1979. I'm just a volunteer. Back in the early 80s, my mother was the president of Geauga Humane, and at the time they were in the other half of the dog shelter. So as a very young adult, I'd go out with her, and let me tell you, that shelter, both sides, were grim, very grim. It was a sad, sad place. Over the years, Matt and the deputy dog wardens and the volunteers, we have put so much blood, sweat, and tears into what we do for the dogs. We really have. That shelter is held together with duct tape, with tarps. The volunteers have made an agility area for enrichment activities for the dogs. And when you walk in, it is the warmest, most welcoming place in Geauga County. It really is. There's no odors. And I really think we need to get rid of the politics and do what's in the best interest of the dogs. And that is to keep the shelter run by the deputies, by the dog warden, who, by the way, I've known Matt since he was at the Cleveland APL. His heart is in the right place. It really is. This is an amazing shelter. And, you know, my mom did so much for the dogs of Geauga County, and I feel like I'm following her legacy. My daughter's in animal rescue. I worked at Channel 3 for 43 years. I just retired. I'm the one, so I spend more time now at the shelter. But I was the one that did our Ready Pet Go segments, our Pet of the Week segments, our Clear the Shelter segments, where we have literally gotten thousands of dogs adopted. Thousands, not 100, thousands. I know the struggles that every Northeast Ohio shelter is facing now. They are filled to the brim. I just can't imagine that Rescue Village is an anomaly and they have all this open space, because they don't. They don't. So we have to do what is in the best interest of these dogs, keep the shelter as it is, and let the loving, caring volunteer and staff do what they do best. Have the deputies stay in their lane, let the animal rescue people, experts, handle it, and we can. Thank you, commissioners. Thank you very much. Do what's best for the dogs. You have to do what's best for the dogs. Thank you. Forget about all this other stuff. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Jody Danko.
Thank you. Good morning. Speaking as a retired police officer from a nationally accredited police department here in Cuyahoga County, and living in Geauga County, a rural community with lots of animals, for 35 years, I speak to the commissioners, I speak to the sheriff's department. I would say there is a communication problem here. It's between the sheriff's department, the prosecutor's office, as well as the dog warden, and the humane officer. In our fully nationally accredited police department that I worked in, we had general orders, standard operating procedures, down to, and I will tell you, how I had to act when there was a bat in the house, let alone a dog call, okay? Where are your standard operating procedures for who you call in what situation? That's what I'm asking the sheriff's department. I'm asking the prosecutor's office, who I believe acts as a law department in this for legal representation. I'm asking them why they're not doing their job in clarifying the laws and clarifying the duties of these people. I am asking why an armed officer who is a dog warden has no communication directly, radio communication with the sheriff's department. Why these people are being asked to go out on calls unaided and unassisted at times, and nobody knows where they're at. This is wrong. I know how emotional people get about their animals. I am also, my husband and I are also had an alumni from the dog shelter, and I wouldn't have given back those 4 years for anything. I will also ask, the sheriff's department and the safety center in this county was paid for early. Do you know how that happened? They took outside prisoners. They took federal prisoners. They took prisoners from other counties and other jurisdictions, and those prisoners paid for our safety center. Okay? So how anybody here has the right to say, don't bring animals into this county that can be adopted for no cost to our county other than to bring love and safety to those animals? Tell me. Tell me how that happens. Thank you. I would just say that, you know, taking somebody's livelihood, taking somebody's job, I think things definitely need to be changed. He needs to be put on call. He needs to be compensated for that, as well as his deputies. And thank you to all you volunteers. You've done a great job.
Nick Dybo.
Don't lose your glasses now.
Good morning. I'm Nick Dybo. I'm a lifelong Geauga County resident, as is my family. Is that okay? There we go. Sorry. I didn't plan on doing this, but so I'm going to stay away from the emotional stuff because I don't think I can get through it, and other people have covered it. But I'm wholeheartedly with them. The communication thing, it's across the board. I mean, there's failures across the board. Prosecutor, sheriff's department, commissioners, it sounds like, I mean, dog warden certainly part of this. My question is, where's the humane officer in this? I mean, they work out of Rescue Village from my understanding, and I don't know how to get to them. And it sounds like nobody else does, and if they do, they don't respond.
Who is it?
Yeah, and I read their site, it says that there's 3 of them. I'm assuming they're county taxpayer paid, but I don't know. Troubling with the Rescue Village site is it says that the dog warden's office is taxpayer funded and donations are not tax deductible. I've sent stuff to them of correct your FAQs, no response. So that's inaccurate totally, and I went to the dog warden's office. I researched this. I learned more in the last week than I ever thought I would. So there's definitely failures in communication, which that needs to be a constant thing for any organization. The dog warden's office and the shelter, we adopted dogs before he came in. We've adopted dogs after, heavily supported, and you know, it's come a long way. And I think it ties in even to, I extended even to a mental health situation for county residents. Veterans volunteer there, people that maybe they can't contribute any other way, they do certain things. So it's a community thing, in my opinion. And, you know, so you have all of that. It's truly a community effort. It is totally funded by not taxpayer dollars. So my question is, how does the sheriff's office going to do this and save money when we're going to pay taxpayer money? And, right, and I read something that said that Rescue Village will take these dogs, but they're going to charge for them. So how much, what's the limit, where are they going to put them? Again, you know, they are over capacity just like everybody else. As far as the sheriff's department, which I wholeheartedly support everything that all these organizations are doing, they're all vital. Kind of tagging on to, you know, the bringing in prisoners to help pay for things. You know, the sheriff's department just did a thing for people to donate stuff to go out of the county to help. I think it was Tennessee or whatever. A great cause, but don't be saying don't bring dogs in from out and helping outside of the county if you're doing the same thing. You know, Toys for Tots and all this other stuff. So I don't know. This is all part of who we are as a county, so, and people. So, I'm sorry, 2 minutes?
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, John Danko?
Oh, don't start, you haven't heard me yet. Is this working? Okay. I've had the opportunity to work with Ralph, so Ralph will attest to the fact that I'm not very socially responsible sometimes. I just sat here for an hour and a half, whatever, and listened to the board pass several measures, expenditures, is that correct?
Yeah. Quite a few.
I noticed that nobody in the crowd said anything. Nobody had any objections to anything. Millions of dollars went out and nobody said nothing. Come to the dog warden who gets no money from you folks and look at this room. Unfortunately, I apologize, I'm a city boy. I came from Cleveland. I've only been in Geauga County for 13 years, so I apologize. In the city, those double yellow lines that you see on the road, you're not supposed to cross them. Doesn't seem to be the problem here in Geauga County. I got passed twice today on double yellow lines. The news has just reported that we had a drive-by shooting here the other night. I think our sheriff's department has bigger problems than trying to take care of a dog shelter. I would rather see them on the road doing their job. I can tell you, for my wife and I have approximately 70 years of law enforcement experience between us. Everything from patrol to investigative to supervisory positions and so forth. And I can tell you for a fact, every patrol officer that I had, not one of them wanted to do a job that was not out there in a high-speed car with lights on, sirens, catching bad guys. They didn't want to sit in an office somewhere taking care of dogs.
Right.
It's not their job. You have to have a special kind of person that's willing to do that. And you just can't pick a deputy or an officer and say, it's your turn today, you're going to go sit at the kennel. If we have enough money in this county to
support taking an officer off the road and putting him in the kennel, then why don't we have enough to put him on the road where he belongs? I didn't say anything bad, right?
Anita Silverman?
I'm not gonna talk.
Okay.
But I will say one thing. What goes around comes around, and we are your bosses, because we're the ones who hired you via voting. So if you think you're gonna get after the dog shelter, which if you wanna talk about a building that needs to be renovated, that's where the money should go. The chickens, it's a once-a-year deal. This is all around the town. This is all year round. And that dog shelter really is, and the cages are very small. And I remember when it was, when they dealt with the Humane Society on one side and the dog shelter was on the other side. And the dog shelter was the poor cousins. So, there's issues. And I remember, because I volunteered a lot, so, but Rescue Village is not, they're in it for themselves. They're not in it for the dogs that are roaming around. And you can't get anybody to come out. It's a terrible situation all the way around. Oh, and by the way, Hope Brustein is gone. There's somebody else who's in charge.
But she was there for 13 years.
Yeah, well, she was something else. But the thing is, if Matt needs help, then you get an assistant dog warden to help him out. And there's no reason in hell why he can't bring in other dogs from other shelters that are overcrowded, because this shelter, they adopt out. Those dogs will get homes in no time.
Thank you. Marcia Gabriel.
Silver.
Sorry, I skipped Danny. Where's Danny at? Danny Harris. If you're in here, then you could come up right after Marcia.
Thank you. Am I projecting?
Yeah.
Okay. My name is Marcia Gabriel. I live in Lake County. I don't even live in this county, but I wish I did. I really do. But let me tell you, you have an extraordinary gem in Geauga County with the shelter. And I did spend some time with Jim on the phone on Friday, I believe it was, and I poured my heart out, but I also heard a lot of his viewpoints as well, and they were good. It was a good conversation, and I appreciate it, I really do. And I think I was able to enlighten you on a couple things as well. So first of all, there's a lot of good things that have been said here already. So I'm not going to try to repeat anything because everything is valuable. What I don't see are any notes being taken for all these great suggestions that have been given. Are those being recorded somewhere, or is somebody secretly?
Right here they are.
Wonderful.
This camera's recording.
Wonderful.
And anybody can see on YouTube and see what's going on.
Perfect, because these are great suggestions.
That's right.
And I hate to see them wasted.
Right here.
So, first of all, there is something to be said about clear expectations. I think Jody had said, correct me if I'm wrong, about SOPs, standard operating procedures. There should be something in place, and this is my lead auditor training that's speaking here, but standard operating procedures tells you work instructions on what you should be doing, what you can be doing, and what is being missed. If there's an audit, those standard operating procedures are going to be pulled out and you're going to be audited against them. It sounds like we have some big gaps going on in terms of missing information, and people are guessing and assuming, and you can't operate a county like that. So things need to be clarified in writing on what is expected of the shelter. Matt, his staff, the sheriff, the prosecutor, and anyone else, including the commissioners involved. There should be no questions whatsoever, okay? That would be my number one suggestion. Number two is get some of the folks involved in a room where they have this private conversation to address these gaps. And I went as far as to throw my hat in with Jim and say, I'll be the objective party, I'll be an arbitrationist, I'll be a mediator, whatever is needed, I will be more than happy to do it. And I still work full-time, so I'll find a way to do it, okay? So, that being said, he needs help. There's no question whatsoever. And there's discussions about resources. Let's go ahead and address some of those as well and get everything in writing and form an action plan, because I don't see a lot of action happening. I had the privilege in July 2022 of adopting a Tennessee transport young lady. Her name is Diamond. And everybody followed Diamond online. She came in pregnant, and as a result, she probably would have been put to sleep if she had stayed in Tennessee. But no one knew she was pregnant, at least they divulged it, until the Geauga shelter took her to, or had the vet come in, and they saw that she had babies. In May, she gave birth to 5 gorgeous, gorgeous pups. And they were amazing, and everyone continued to follow online, and we filmed her, or they filmed her. And when I saw a picture of her online in July, I fell madly in love with her. Honestly, I did. She spoke to me. So I came out with my other dog reluctantly because he doesn't like to travel. And we adopted Diamond and we brought her into my home. And for the next couple weeks, I went through what I considered some training myself, because every time there was a dog that would sound off in the neighborhood, she would think it was one of her puppies, so she would go frantic. I taught her an awful lot, but she also taught me an incredible amount. So it brought in Diamond's adoption fee, it brought in 5 puppy adoption fees, and I can't tell you how many lives have been saved from Tennessee Transports, how much revenue has been brought in from Tennessee Transports. It absolutely, positively cannot be stopped, because it is a good thing, and we need more good things in the world. And I can tell you that. And all you have to do is look on Facebook and you can see me bragging. Bottom line is, these are my ideas, these are my feelings, and I think everyone in here is extremely passionate about making this work. That's all I need to say. Thank you.
Did Danny come up here? Or?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, if Danny's not here, then we're going to move to Judy Jacobson. Judy Jacobson. If we can, let's just try to keep it to 2 minutes, where we want to try to get everybody an opportunity.
Okay, I got introduced. This is Drake. Drake was in the very first shipment from Tennessee, Moco Mutts. He was actually pulled by Moco Mutts from another shelter. He was on their euthanasia list. He probably would have also been put down through Moco Mutts. He was brought up here from then. I've had him almost 3 years. Again, he was in that first transport. He has become my service dog. He has also saved my life. He has learned to alert to an abnormal heart rate and rhythm for me. And when I went into that abnormal rhythm very late at night, he actually did, it's old school medicine, what's called a precordial thump. He went running across the yard, jumped up onto my chest, right here, 2 paws, launched me across the room apparently, or, left bruises for 2 weeks, but it was able to restart my heart back to a normal rhythm. I just wanted to let you guys know what a Tennessee dog can do. That was going to be put to death. He is a great dog, but there also are issues, and I recognize that. And it really alarmed me that there are no SOPs and there's obviously communication issues. That needs to be fixed. If somebody's leg is broken, you don't amputate. You try to fix it first. And that's all I want to say. We need to try to fix something that is working for one department and the community before we try to amputate the dog warden.
Excuse me, I'm an attorney and I have to be in court, so I'm going to ask you to allow me to speak. Hi everyone, I'm Carol Marie Black. I live here in Munson. I've adopted probably 5 dogs from the shelter. My family came in 1880 to this county and had farms. This county was built by people who used their animals to not only make a living, but have a wonderful farming organization. My father grew up and they raised hunting dogs. And it was for all of the people who like to shoot their guns and make sure the dog retrieves them. And we ate the ducks too. So I'm going to make 4 statements. What's the motive of the sheriff? Is it because he gets more funding? Because he gets more dollars for his deputies? Okay, I want to know the funding procedure and what the actual motive is of the sheriff. We have no deputies in the sheriff's office that are trained to deal with dogs. So are you going to try and spend more money in funding the training when we have veterinarians and people? Now, I go to Rescue Village also, but they're a nonprofit. They have no responsibility to you. I was an attorney in Florida for 30 years. I did abuse, abandonment, and neglect of children. I terminated parental rights. We could do a similar case with animals. Animals that are abused and abandoned or neglected. Just like we did with children, we had social workers that went in and immediately took the kids to foster care. That would be our shelter. Because cruelty to animals is listed in our statutes. Perhaps you folks might talk to your law representatives because you certainly haven't talked to us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Last statement. When are you going to fund this shelter for development? You have spent inordinate amounts of money building this building, building the engineer's office. Why have you not prioritized the care of animals? This is a county that's rural, where people love their animals. So my last question is, should we vote for you guys? No. I don't think so. I'm going to work to vote you out if you don't pass the shelter being captain. I can do that. So I don't believe your actions have been made in good faith. I think you're talking about the legality of it is simply easy. What all these people have talked about is the prosecutor's office should and could make triage the way they want it to do, just like in the hospital. Someone's hurt, they're picked up. Someone's left abandoned, they're picked up. And we don't kill them. So I would like to make a statement that for the future, you don't do these meetings in private.
That's right.
You did them behind closed doors. In Florida, we have a sunshine law where commissioners, mayors, all the meetings are done publicly. So you certainly didn't consult with anyone. You just simply made a decision that the sheriff could handle it. Well, I agree. I've worked in jails. I've worked getting people out of jail. I've worked as a prosecutor putting them in jail. So it's not difficult for the deputies to say, you're under suspicion or we have reasonable cause to arrest you for animal cruelty. You won't be sued if you're doing it on the basis of your own liability of leaving the dogs there to harass other people. And there's a book you should read. It's called No Bad Dogs. It's the way dogs are handled that creates their temperament. And it's the way you commissioners handle us as voters. So I think we're going to all vote to remove you if you don't vote in terms of supporting the shelter. We have a petition with 3,500 signatures on it. Where are you guys? What is your motivation to do this? So I think we should prioritize the care of our animals in this county. And we need to have commissioners who believe that also. And I'd really like to know if any of you have dogs. Do any of you have dogs? Do you have dogs?
Not at the present time.
Okay, do you have dogs? Okay, well, thank God. Because if you don't take care and love a dog, and the last thing is, in Florida, I helped found the law, animal rights, and the animal law section of the Florida bar. I believe I could get the Ohio bar to get interested in this subject, because apparently we don't have the right law. We need to model it on abuse, abandonment, neglect of children. It wouldn't be so hard to put dog and cat in legislation. Thank you all.
Ben Bidry. Ben?
I hope you look at the petition and see how many people have shown an interest in this, because you will be voted out if you don't support these people. My name is Carol Black, and I am an attorney 40 years. I practiced in Florida.
Okay, do we have Mary Pluto?
Okay.
Okay, Mary passes to the next person. Lori Burns?
Okay, I'm Kim Kingset, and Lori and I know each other, and we're probably saying the same things. We have volunteered. Can you all hear me, or should I talk in this? Not that one. Okay, been volunteering since it was the Geauga Humane Society and the Rescue Village. I mean, the two were connected, and the difference is day and night between when we started there. Cindy and I went in, Cindy, who's an employee there, who will be losing her job. She and I went in and we went to both places, and the dog warden was so sad. They had employees there that it was not their job to play with the dogs or walk the dogs. They just, went in, had their coffee, did their job, and that's all they did. And it was very sad. So since Matt came along, that's when we started, when Matt was there, made the world of difference to everything. 100% turnaround. Priority is the dogs. I made notes. He goes to places, volunteers go to places, shows the dog, shows what the shelter does. They take in strays, they loan out traps to help people catch dogs, they go themselves to help people. The public can come in if someone's having a hard time. I've been there recently over the holidays, and people have come in broke, they don't have money for food, they're worried about their dogs. They've been kind enough to give the people a bag of dog food to help them out, to take care. There was some lies in the Maple Leaf. Whoever wrote that, it was downright lies. The anonymous person has knowledge of ongoing things at the shelter. Matt has never put to sleep a healthy, adoptable, non-aggressive dog. He is not afraid of any breeds. I don't know where he is, but wherever he went off to, he is not afraid of them all. He tries to save everybody. They move him to rescues that specialize in training bully breeds, we'll say, or another dog that's a difficult situation. Only one deputy responds to calls. That was also a lie. I know that for a fact. I'm using her example again. She's one of my best friends. I'll be talking to her. She says, I got to call this, whatever, Chardon Police Department, Newberry Police Department, wherever. And they respond right away. I would say within 10 minutes. Do volunteers support the staff? Yes, we do. We will help let dogs out. We will help walk dogs. We will go to Tractor Supply. We will go to Centira, wherever they want to bring dogs. We will go and hang out and do that. You guys should work with the warden, not against the warden. He's a good guy. He cares about the dogs. Just a fact, since 2011, they have saved over 4,100 dogs from lots of different shelters and rescues. MoCo is amazing, and we've all been, is it 3 years you've been working with MoCo now? Saving so many lives, it's so huge. And we all get these in the mail with our dog licenses things. Matt started this to raise extra money for the shelter, to do things for the dogs. That's what it's about. It's about the dogs. And Matt will lose his job along with 4 very, very dedicated, wonderful employees if you do this. That's all.
Thank you. Kathy Wiles?
I don't have anything.
Okay. This is Jane Rice Chambers.
I'm not a public speaker. I'm just here because my dog Charlie came from Tennessee. And without that dog, I don't know where I'd be right now. He has saved me, he saved my husband, he goes to work with me every day. And when I walked into that place, they were so welcoming to me and helped me find him. And now he's the most happiest dog. And if you stop bringing these dogs in from other places, what are we gonna do? He found me, I didn't find him. So that's all I have to say. Don't stop the shelter.
Kathy Armstrong. Yep. After Kathy, we will have Thomas McIntyre, I believe.
I'll be real quick. I just want to say I don't work for the shelter or anything, but I'm a citizen of Geauga County, and I've lived here for over 30 years. I support the shelter. I support our dog warden. I think they do a fabulous job. I also support the bringing in of dogs from other places. Some places call that shelter helping shelter, and that's just the humane thing to do, and we need to continue it. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Okay.
So I'm Tom McIntyre, I can be very brief. I have one point, and that is that I like our shelter the way it is. I think we should keep it that way, and I expect this in the county that I live in. I have a choice of where I live. I'm going to retire. I can live here, or I can live in Florida. But I expect this kind of service. And we rescue older dogs. Our beagle came from the shelter. Without the shelter, that beagle would not be alive. And he's a good member of our family. So let's keep it running the way it is.
Thank you. Elaine Roth, I believe. Elaine? Elaine, do you?
I'm not Elaine, but I'm Ann Goss. I feel like I
Okay.
was kind of somewhere in the middle of the page and my name hasn't been called.
I'm Ann Goss. I'm a resident of Geauga County. There's been a lot of great comments made. I too would like to keep the shelter the way it is. One thing that really struck me today is I know that the shelter has been self-sustaining for dollars, but yet we have dollars to pay for Judge Grendel's legal fees. And we've had misappropriations of funds over the years in the IT department. And I think we do need to get to the bottom of, I know we have a wonderful sheriff's department, but what's the motivation? Is it to take over and control Matt, or is it to get more funding for the sheriff's department? And I think whatever money we might be giving to the sheriff or Rescue Village to take over these duties, we need to start appropriating some tax dollars to the shelter. This is ridiculous. The other thing that struck me from this lady, I believe, mentioned that Matt has no radio or the staff has no radio. So if they go on a call, a dangerous call, they could be shot, killed, whatever. I mean, we live in this society where, you know, people treat animals like livestock in this county. We can't get rid of puppy mills in Ohio. But I do know this, if our dog wardens, our sheriff, and the prosecutors aren't up to date on the state laws, I know just from going to a Rescue Village fundraiser that it is now a felony for animal cruelty. And they have passed laws for that in this state. I hear about these 4 Great Danes. Those people should be charged with a felony. So where is this county on this? And again, the standard operating procedures, we could be sued as a county for not having proper standard operating procedures. You have these private meetings that are basically personnel issues. Was there a representative from our HR department there? No. I mean, Matt could sue you guys for defamation. Yeah. And it has come out in the press, misinformation. I mean, I don't know him at all, but I'm just saying, we're not doing things properly here. I'm very passionate about that. You all better get your act together. I've only lived here for 20 years, but the only 2 names I see in the 20 years, sorry, Ralph, I don't know you and I don't know you, Jim, but I'd like to see some new names up here. Yeah. And you were making fun of one of the speakers, and you're an incoming person. Yeah. Get your shit together. Yeah.
Okay, Frida Bates.
I hope I'm not causing any problems. Well, I don't want to cause problems.
I agree with everything that was said, and I was born in Tennessee, so keep them babies coming.
Ken Bates.
Thank you. Yes.
Ken Bates.
Had enough?
Gail Johnson. Okay. I believe this is Christine Perkins.
I'll just stand right here and really holler. You've all said it. Everybody has said it, but there is one thing that I've only heard a couple of times, and that is, if we, the taxpayers, can pay money to upgrade the pig barn, the poultry area. Yeah. I was over at that shelter the other day, and so was Carolyn. We met each other over there. That shelter needs some work. And I mean, it's amazing what they do over there with what they have. So I think we ought to start looking at a line item with this county for that shelter. By the way, does the shelter own that building? I mean, the county?
Yes. I'm going to make one last motion before I go today, and that is to appropriate $250,000 towards the renovation of the dog shelter. Second the motion. Yes.
Yes. Yes, motion approved.
Thank you. Thomas Dia.
All our hearts. All our hearts.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Thomas Dia.
We got Slate, who was from Ashtabula, and he definitely changed our life, so we're definitely in support of dogs coming in from other counties. And they do a wonderful job at the shelter. They're very involved with the pets. Slate and I sometimes return. He's considered an alumni. They're a wonderful organization. I can't see how the Sheriff's Department could actually take over that function. There's just so much hands-on, so much love there. They might be able to be efficient, but I don't think they could do the same things that the current shelter is providing.
Thank you.
Okay, Kim King? She already talked. So Joyce Hannah.
Speaking for someone in the back of the room, if y'all can hold it down a little bit so people in the back can actually hear you. Thank you for your time today, commissioners. I'm not going to sit here and make accusations and give you a sob story. The commissioners did not inherit this as a problem. Do you have a description of the dog warden's duties? Has anybody ever written them out? How do you know if he's doing his job if you don't have a description of his duties? You have to have that even before the SOP. How do you hire somebody to do a job when you have no job description? This is first and foremost the most important thing that you have to do. And I believe it would be up to the commissioners here to make sure that's done. SOPs are generally written by the people who do the job and then approved by the commissioners. They can't write the description for the dog warden. They can't write the description for the sheriff. They can't write the engineer's description. They can approve what their SOPs are based on what they feel that their jobs need to be. So this whole issue is not a make or break today thing. I'm sorry, but you gentlemen and your new commissioner have a lot of work ahead of you to do. I understand where you're coming from. I'm not trying to put my personal interest into the middle of this because that's not what it's about. That's not why they brought this up. This is not why the sheriff brought it up. People think they know your job when in fact, pretty much nobody knows anybody else's job. And you've seen that anywhere you've worked. So I can't tell you whether the dog warden is doing a good job or not. I'd say he's doing a good job because I have a wonderful dog I just got from him last year. Came up from Tennessee. But that's not the point of this meeting. The meeting is to determine what to do about the position. Should it go to the sheriff's department? No. That's an opinion. No. Okay? I'm not saying he should it or shouldn't. Okay? I'm not giving you my opinion. There are cases where the sheriff's departments do a better job than what they previously had. So how do you know the sheriff can't do as good of a job? Okay, devil's advocate here. Because you don't know what the dog warden's job is. Okay? You're also going to have to give the dog warden, if you assign him more duties and give him more instructions on, yes, this is when you can and cannot take an animal or a dog. You also have to assume liability for that. That includes insurance, bonding. There's a lot more involved in this, and I'm pretty sure you all know this is not going to be decided one way or another today. It literally cannot be. Why do commissioners have private meetings? It's not my business to read the job review of the sheriff or the dog warden. It's not my business to know that information. It's their business. That's why they have private meetings. They do have to discuss things that you are not privy to, will never be privy to, and really don't have the right. I mean, do you want your personal information given out to everybody in public from where you work? Yes, they are public officials.
We do have the right.
Well, I'm gonna let it go at that. But making threats against the commissioners serves absolutely no one. Okay, it serves no one.
Nobody made a threat.
We're gonna make sure that you don't get voted out. That's a threat. Okay?
Okay, we're gonna move on to our,
Okay, thank you. Next.
Christina Rovia. Christine. Mary Hallis.
Hi, good morning. My name's Mary. I am going to tell you a personal story, a true story about the sheriff's department. There was somebody going up and down the road yelling MF and a bunch of other stuff, a big man. He ended up in our yard. I called the police department. Nobody came. We have a bunch of outbuildings. 2 days later, we called. I had given them our address and everything. They said, oh, we thought he was on Aquila Road. We got him. They never called us back. They never checked up because we have all kinds of outbuildings. We could have been in danger. My husband said, I slept by the bed with a shotgun. All they asked was, did you shoot him? And my husband said, did you find him on our doorstep? Now I think the sheriff's department needs to concentrate on the humans and not the dogs.
Okay, Marilyn Kirchase. No.
She's coming.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Thank you. The older I get, the more the obituaries become important. What I have noticed is that a lot of people bequeath donations to the jug account. This tells me something, that this person believed so much in the pound that even after death, this person reached out from the grave to continue his or her belief. This tells me something about the character of our pound. We need to continue this. That's my first point. My second point is I'm a retired emergency room nurse. 40 years, I'm proud of that. I've seen a lot of characters. I worked 24 years on night shift. Believe me, the characters are characters. The golden hour is what we called trauma. We saw that golden hour, each tick of the clock represented a survival of that person. I worked with a lot of police. I didn't work with sheriffs. But I will tell you, we are asking superhuman things of our police, and now we're asking superhuman things of our sheriffs. We ask them to be teachers, traffic cops, pastors, social workers, and now we want them to be veterinarians. I don't think so. Getting a call for an injured dog or a lost dog is going to be a low priority. You think about what they have to go through. Shots fired, burglaries, domestic violence. And I'm not trying to suck up to any policeman. I haven't had a traffic ticket. I'm 78 years old. Knock on wood. I just think they are spread too thin. Going up to an injured dog takes a professional.
Yes, it does.
You just can't go up to a dog with good intentions. You can't. A professional person needs to do that. We need our dog warden. We need our people in the facility. And we need to let our police and sheriffs do their job. As much of it as they have to do. That's what I have to say. Thank you. I'm glad my voice helped.
Oh, you sound good.
Thank you. Lauren Salmon, Lauren?
My name is Lauren Salmon. I founded a website called Cle Pups. My heart and soul is with the dogs from the Cleveland Kennel. I'm from Cleveland. I'm a teacher in Cleveland, so here I am. So I've been involved in shelter work as a volunteer and an advocate for about 15 years, and I can say that shelters are a place of community, they're a place of hope, action, and purpose. That was said before, and I wanted to reiterate that because it's when you see the best of humanity meet the worst of humanity, that's what you see in shelters, and taking that away from a community is heart-wrenching. I want to speak on the efficiency and the effectiveness of the county shelter that you have currently because I have not heard the statistics stated in this public forum at this point. The live release rate, meaning the number of dogs that are released from a shelter alive, meaning transferred to another shelter or adopted or returned to an owner nationally, currently, according to Best Friends, which gets national data, is 83.4%. In Ohio, it's 85.9%. Geauga County Shelter, 98.9%. If you want to speak to your warden doing their job, they're doing their job. Last year in Ohio, 9,912 dogs were killed in shelters. You can say euthanized, but euthanized is a term that really is supposed to be meant for their best interest. Only 39 of those were in your county.
Wow.
So over this course of time, the Cleveland Kennel has seen a decrease in about 20% of their live release rate since kind of the peak of COVID. Their live release rate in Cleveland right now is only 75.9%. You guys are amazing. Because I know the dedication of the staff and the volunteers in Cleveland, and if that's all they can get, then you guys are doing a phenomenal job. Speaking of Rescue Village, where you're thinking of sending all of the dogs, 2 years ago, in 2022, according to the annual report for the Cleveland Kennel, they saved the life of 29 dogs. Last year's annual report didn't have numbers, but they also saved some. Your county kennel doesn't take any currently from the Cleveland Kennel, but I'm here anyways because I know that's going to impact us on a regional level. That your reputation is amazing in the state and outside of the state. If Rescue Village took all of your dogs, 29 more dogs would have been dead 2 years ago in Cleveland. And those are dogs that people want. Like as you spoke of the dogs that are coming from out of state, those are not a burden on your community. That's what your community wants and what they're looking for. So I just think it's important to pay attention to the statistics and the facts when you're evaluating if somebody's doing their job or not.
That's right. Thank you so much. Real quick, what was her name? Have you got her name?
I've got one more.
I'm sorry.
Jim Aurelia?
Right here. Oops, could I ask her a question real quick? So just to be clear, because there was some comments made last week that I just want to be really clear about. There was a comment made about that somehow bringing dogs in from either other counties or out of state is somehow subsidizing those counties with Geauga County tax dollars. I just want to make it real clear that this is a practice that all these kennels do. They participate and they work together, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I spent yesterday, because this is what I do on my winter break, contacting 150 different shelters in Massachusetts, because Massachusetts has one of the highest rates of importing dogs for their shelters and not having to export them. And what I received over and over and over is, we're full, we can't take dogs. And historically, dog transport to the New England area has been a way that so many lives have been saved. A few reached out and looked through our list and said, you know, we're interested in these. It's because in many of the shelters in certain areas, like yours, you are very fortunate, people claim their dogs. You know, when they go missing, they are so appreciative of the shelter for keeping them safe and, you know, holding them safely until they can reconnect with them. In places like Cleveland and other places in the South, that's not the case. And so you don't have the little fluffy dogs and the puppies at your shelter because the people in your community want to keep them safe. And so you're bringing in the dogs from other places that people want to adopt. You're promoting adoption, you're reducing reliance on puppy mills and backyard breeders and things like that. So you don't have that legal issue because that becomes a legal issue also. And you're supplying the community with what they're looking for and what they need at no cost because there's zero cost in transfer.
And it's revenue for Geauga County.
Oh, it's absolute, yeah, because you have the adoption. So if you're funding your shelter with donations, then you're getting adoption fees from people who want to adopt. Often the small dogs, the puppies have higher rates.
So Geauga County taxpayers are not subsidizing for other counties. That comment. Yeah.
You're saving lives, but you're making money.
Yeah.
I don't see a downside to that.
Jim Aurelia?
I have a quick question. Are tax dollars now being used for the shelter?
So the only, the dollars that have been used, tax dollars, is we put a new roof on the shelter and also the parking lot and driveway that we did. That was, those were dollars that we did as far as capital improvements are tax dollars.
But none of the stuff that deals with the dog.
No, so the salaries and, you know, everything is between the licensing and donations.
And I don't think many people know that.
Right,
yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
May I give you some numbers because you're right on it?
Yes.
This wonderful shelter in 2024, they took in from Ashtabula 21 dogs. Geauga Moms and Pups, 22 dogs. Tennessee, 144 dogs. All of them completely 100% medically taken care of, spayed, neutered, shots, testing, worms, so forth. Now, you add that all together, and on the low end, $120 to adopt a dog. Just on the low end. And then the puppies, 6 months and under, $200. Geauga, in 2024, took in 52 strays. That's what Geauga taxpayers paid for.
Thank you. Let me add to the volunteering. Back in 2009, the rescue or the shelter needed gravel terribly bad. So somebody approached my Rotary Club and we bought gravel and put it down, 15 of us one Saturday morning, shovels and rakes and just leveled it out. So then I was commissioner for 2-3 months. An older gentleman called me up and said, hey, so I just donated some dog food at the shelter and I got my car stuck. So the next meeting I came here and made the statement to our maintenance guys, within 2 years or less, we have to have a new parking lot over there, because this is crazy that we can't have a decent parking lot at the shelter. And within 2 years or less, we did. And that cost us a little over $33,000. But we got it done. And then the roof, I went over there with Glenn before we got estimates on it. I'm from the construction industry years ago. And we got the roof done. That cost $27,383. But we care. We want things to... I'm a taxpayer as well. All of us are. Everybody in this room is a taxpayer. So we're chipping in.
So you want to shut it down?
No, never did. Never said that. No one ever, on this front table, never said we want to shut it down. We always want the dog shelter. And the volunteers and the workers there are fantastic.
Who's gonna run it though? Why did you start? Why did we even bring it up?
Okay, we're gonna let Mr. Duralia just give him his 2 minutes here.
I need my 4, as I mentioned it.
Okay.
All right. 4.5 maybe, okay. All right, I prepared this statement for this meeting prior to stay on point. I recently lost 2 of my best friends. Oh, darn it. I'm sorry. I thought I talked loud enough. Everybody else says I'm loud now, sorry. Okay, can you hear me now? Okay. I prepared this statement prior to the meeting to stay on point. I recently lost 2 of my best friends, so I'm trying to avoid the emotionals that are still very rare. Good morning, commissioners. Hope you had a blessed Christmas. Alert, I just want to mention, I put this on my notes. Many of you probably saw on Facebook, there's a Middle Eastern man going around Geauga County trying to steal our dogs to use for dog bait. My neighbor's dog, they tried to grab her Jack Russell's. Another Amish lady on Mumford Road, they tried to grab her dog. The police were out there, never caught the guy. I wish my neighbor would have got the license plate, but that's how it goes. So, okay, my name is Jim Duralia. I've been a resident of Geauga County for over 60 years. My background is financial management, so I know the numbers pretty well. My 2 charitable passions are taking care of our veterans. My father was a sniper in World War II and received 5 Bronze Stars, including one from the Battle of the Bulge. My mother worked on the Norton Bomb Site project. To say the least, I feel I was blessed with 2 great parents who raised me to be honest and approach my life with integrity. My second passion is animal welfare. That's what I'd like to focus on today. I adopt senior dogs. They are the hardest to place, yet when they know they have a forever home, the unconditional love is beyond your imagination. And I'm sorry, bring up a little bit, I lost my 2 recently. What?
Don't be sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry, okay. Thank you, sorry. It's rough. 2 of them in a month. So, okay. I've been adopting dogs from the Geauga County Sheriff for over 40 years. 6 dogs that I remember. Bumper, Bumpsky, little guy, Sparrow, Kylie, and Bumpsky. So, okay. I used to actually volunteer at the shelter when my life was not so hectic. I think Geauga County Shelter has been one of the best county shelters I've ever been to. I met Matt when I was volunteering at the shelter. I've always felt Matt puts the life of the dogs as a priority. This is not true of some of the shelters. And I mean our shelters, not the county shelter, as we take pride in it. It is one of the most efficient and well-run shelters I have seen. It's not just my opinion, but it's also the opinion of someone who the trustees know, who delves into the numbers. Our shelter is one of the shelters other shelters wish they were. We're probably one of the smallest shelters I've ever seen around here. You go to Youngstown, there's a Taj Mahal over there. I looked at, it was an old racket club. I mean, multi-floor, multi-million dollars. I don't know how they got their funding, but but bless them. Okay. When you go to our shelters, whose name's on our dog runs? Is it the county shelters? No. It's people and our citizens in the county who believe in our shelter, who operate it and donate to it. Matt and his crew care about our dogs. When the shelter has room, they look to bring in dogs from other shelters and find homes for them. Actually, Kylie and Bumpsky came out of Cleveland. Bumpsky came from not Youngstown, but Ashtabula. Bless the little girl. Went to Montana Nights several times together. Love that little girl. I love them all. Okay. As I mentioned, 2 of them were transferred from other shelters. They became great family members, and I doubt I would ever have known the love they gave me if it had been for Matt and the crew. I watched the video of your previous meetings, Mr. Commissioners. I want to thank you and Mr. Lennon, oops, I better hold this up a little bit, for the sincere apology. However, I feel there are 3 others should have been the one to do an apology. And frankly, I respect, and the respect that I had for them no longer exists. And one of the attendees of the meetings was vehement about his displeasures as well, if you watch the video. Okay. Someone mentioned we should have taken an executive session. Frankly, I'm glad it was not. We, the citizens and the taxpayers of Geauga County, were able to witness the true character of some of our public officials, and some of them were embarrassing. Okay. Yeah. Matt's demeanor, and compared to his detractors, was quite professional. I am not sure if I'd have handled the unwarranted attacks as well as he did. He was also prepared to counter the untruths that were told about him. Okay. This is a matter of a few people in the county's political agenda versus the best outcome for all of our dogs. And the dogs have to have the priority for the commissioners. I'm going to cite a personal, but I believe accurate observations. I'm sure this will perturb a few people, but that's okay. I tend to be blunt at times, and I don't mind it. Okay. The county prosecutor has no, and I mean zero, right to attack Matt for not doing his job.
Right.
He let, if the article is correct in the paper, and I've heard much verified footage, $4 million of ours was stolen under his watch.
That's right.
Okay, so that vanished under his undersight, gone. That was our taxpayer money. It was put into, when a taxpayer put in an information request, he went to court to block it. There's something was hidden about that. Obviously, there was something to hide. The recommended sentence for his old buddy Galea, are you seriously? 3 years of not running for officer? What was going on there? Yeah, something like a little sweetheart deal, in my opinion. How much overruns in cost to rebuild our county courthouse versus putting a new one in?
Absolutely.
There's no control on that man up there, okay. And now he wants to spend whatever he wants to refurbish his own prosecutor's palace and not even tell us what he's gonna do? You might have been the mental that mentioned that.
$250,000.
And going once. How much do I hear? 300. Okay. I know Laura LaChapelle. She represented my township when I was on the zoning board. I'm embarrassed. She would cower to someone I think is a thug, and when I provide legal opinion, as Matt requested. She's paid by us to do that. Right. She had no right to acquiesce to him. See? And by the way, our prosecutor's paid by us too. Okay.
A lot of money.
Okay. I would like the commissioners to consider appointing an oversight committee to review the prosecutor's expenses. This would be a group of financial professionals like myself.
Yep.
This is long overdue. I'd be willing to chair the group, Mr. Spitaleri. I may have butchered your name, but people screw mine pretty bad too, so Ralph. Okay. And by the way, you know, Maple Leaf detractions about the shelter. That Maple Leaf is a mouthpiece for a few of the people in the county. It's not a real paper. Okay. The sheriff, I'm on page 2. I'm sorry, Ralph. I'm talking fast as I can. Okay.
1 more minute.
Okay. The sheriff thinks he could run the dog shelter, stop transferring our beloved dogs from kill shelters, and send his deputies out to pick up stray dogs. Does he even know if he can do that? I read the Ohio Revised Code. It's very unclear. I brought a copy of it with me. And if you read legal opinions, they're very varied about what you can do. These are not canine dogs, and we have some great ones in this county. Our canines are great. These are stray dogs. His deputies are not trained to handle these situations. Matt is. What do you think the public opinion of one of his deputies shoots a beloved family member because the dog barked at him? I can assure you there'll be serious repercussions. Okay. What proof does the sheriff have he can run the shelter more efficiently? None. When it comes to dogs, he is no Dan McClellan either. What would happen to our dogs after a week or two if he does not like one? Kill the poor creation of God? God did not make disposable anything, in my opinion. The sheriff's office has enough. If the sheriff's office has enough staff to handle the dog warden's job as well, it's way overfunded and overstaffed. Okay. Continuing on the sheriff, I stopped by the sheriff a couple of years ago when he first came in. I have a very background experience that I felt might be of value when there was an emergency in the county. His answer was, we don't need you. We have other counties to fall back on. I'm a citizen here. I've been here for over 60 years. I'm useless, I guess, to them. Okay. Well, I asked, well, what happens when all the counties are in trouble as well? Don't you have like an auxiliary group? We begrudgingly took my name. I never got a call from whoever runs the auxiliary department. Okay. My cousin was a former Air Force member and also extensive background in nuclear area, including nuclear disasters. He's on one of the disaster recovery counties in Lake County, had a similar experience. You can marginalize my background. I've got a little fire department and stuff like that, if you wanted to. But my cousin has more knowledge and experience in the nuclear area than everyone in this county combined. He's a valuable asset to this county. Yet again, he was ignored. Now, he's a very impressive individual, and I rarely say that about anybody. Okay. This summer, I saw our sheriff in an event and was offered his rifle team access to my 500-yard range. Once again, there was no cost. We don't need we don't need the public attitude. The sheriff does not want to engage with the citizens of Jaga. This is hardly how our dog shelter should be managed. Jaga does not need another Sheriff Todd. No. Sheriff mentioned partnering with Rescue Village. I'm very familiar with them. I made 2 calls last year to report animal abuse. You go into voicemail. The best response was in 3 days. Is that acceptable to you, commissioners?
No.
Or anybody here? No. It should not be. My firm, by prayer forum, made 2 sizable donations to Rescue Village to sponsor events. If you'd have seen how they wasted the money, you would have been quite perturbed. The Graves Foundation, and I was at the event, gave over $100,000 to Rescue Village a few years ago. What did they use the money for? To help the animals in the shelters? No. They built a water feature, which is out in front of it, for over $100,000. I was invited to the dedication, so I know what I'm talking about. While I was at an event, I asked to see some of their dogs. I lost my beloved Roy about a year before that, and I was ready to adopt again. I asked to be introduced to a bonded pair, Ben and Jerry, a German short hair and a beagle. We got along well, and I was asked what the next step was. I'm getting there, Ralph. Sorry. Okay. Counselor asked me about my background, work, and my work schedule, the normal stuff. When I told her I was away from my home 4 to 5 days a week, at my office 8 to 9 hours, but I had someone stop in every day and let them out a couple times a day. She looked at me and said, I was not a good dog parent. Seriously? I should be there with them all the time. So I guess I was rejected because I work. Okay, well, when I got into the vehicle dejected and went to our county shelter to walk a few dogs that was still volunteered at the time. Guess who I met? Sparrow. Okay. A dog Matt found wandering in the middle field. When Sparrow's whole time was up, she became home with me. So I wondered at times who rescues who. Okay. So whatever happened, thank you. So whatever happened to Ben and Jerry? Rescue Village transferred them to, where do you guess? Jaga County Shelter. Okay. And Cindy and Matt found them forever homes. So who does a better job at placing dogs? The answer is pretty darn clear in my opinion. FYI, I used to use one of the vets that works at Rescue Village. I no longer do, and I'll leave it at that. Okay, by the way, the director of Rescue Village makes 6 figures. Matt I believe, makes about $60K, and the average deputy is about $80,000 if the information I received is quick. And I don't begrudge our sheriffs or our deputies at all. They risk their lives for us. They're out there. They're out there day and night. I got to tell you, Jog is pretty good compared to Portage. You know, they actually know how to do a police report. You know, they also know how to fill out an accident report, so it's like you know who's really at fault too. So good for them on it. But they're not qualified. None of these are qualified to do the Matt's job, and they're not trained to. They shouldn't be. Okay, so they risk their lives. Okay, so let our deputies do what they're paid to do and what they're trained to do. And let Matt, who is dedicated to rescuing and saving dogs, do what he's done for us for over the last 22 years. And by the way, Mr. Lennon, thank you for the $250. Let me ask one more. Well, I know it's not on your pocket. Well, maybe it is, but I'll back you up a little on that too. But okay. And I can assure you that by the way, you should move to motion. Give Matt a raise. He should be another $20,000. That's my request. My sense. He's learning at least as much as a deputy. Mr. DeVore, maybe you should pay that because you kind of set up the hit job for him last time. So I really like Matt's idea of adding additional information to our dog license form. I wish our dog county would also be chipped as well. Dogs lose their collars. Chips are reasonably better, a lot better, but certainly be nice if we could do something like that too. Mr. Lennon and Mr. Spitaleri, you need to do what's best for our county. And I know you will, and more importantly, our beloved dogs. And this is to support Matt, his crew, and our shelter. It's a very efficient operation. We, the taxpayers of Jaga County, love our dog shelter and want to have Matt and crew to continue to operate it. I will hope you go into executive session now and do that and just affirm his position for the next couple of years.
Absolutely.
Kim, I wish you were sticking around for another term. I wish you could, all right, sir? I wish you would, okay. Now, And now we, the citizens of Geauga County, have the right to demand what the commissioners will do what we ask.
That's right.
And if we have a new commissioner that doesn't believe in us, there's ways to remove them.
That's right.
And we will do it, I promise you.
Thank you.
And I'll put the money out to do it. I have no problem with that. Okay. As for me, I have a $5,000 check with me made out to the shelter. I may talk a while, but I also back up what I believe in.
Good for you.
And they're in my trust as well. So, thank you. Put another motion on the floor.
One thing at a time.
Thank you very
No,
much.
you still got room.
That concludes our public comments.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's do two more and then we'll be.
Wait 1 second, let me get a note out of here.
Oh, okay.
I'm out of here. There you go.
That microphone, please?
Oh, yeah.
Well, you too. Nice talking to you too.
Take care. Happy New Year.
Thank you, everybody who stayed this long. Appreciate you coming to represent the dog shelter. My name is Jillian Cressman. I'm 28 years old. I'm a social worker, and I was born and raised in Chardon, Ohio. Not loud enough? Is that better? Okay, sorry. Jillian Cressman, social worker, 28 years old. Born and raised in Chardon, Ohio, tried to leave, eventually came back because that's what Geauga County does. And I am a volunteer at the shelter. There's one thing you should know if you volunteer at the shelter, it's that you cannot get attached to the dogs because they have such a good adoption rate. They are in and out sometimes within a couple of days. And so I just want people to really understand that they are not sitting for any period of time. It is a really quick adoption rate, and I appreciate people who brought up the statistics. I also wanted to give an update on the change.org petition to prevent the transfer of management from Geauga County Dog Shelter to the Sheriff's Department. There are currently 3,662 signatures, so yeah. And also I've been told there are 400 physical signatures. So that is definitely, again, what everyone's been saying to reiterate their support there for the shelter. One last little love note to the shelter. You have saved me. So I think we should continue to allow it to stay open so that other people can be saved like I have been through the wonderful work.
Thank you, young lady. Thank you very much.
My name is Chris Rona, and I have a background in veterinary medicine in inner city Cleveland, worked with county kennels and the shelters for some excellent veterinarians. And correct me if I'm wrong, it's not about the shelter's existence, but who is managing the shelter. And I think that's the key that I want to bring up. I have more questions than answers. So that $250,000 for maintenance, who is going to manage that? Is that the Sheriff's Department or is that Matt? We want Matt, so I think we want to focus on that. Everybody in this room has touched on the wonderful things that that shelter has done. They've changed the image of the dog warden. They've changed the lives of both people and four-legged pets here. So I think everyone in the room that supports Matt wants to make sure that those funds are allocated to Matt's management. You guys brought up communication. That seems like a very, very, very simple thing to overcome. I have a pretty extensive background across many different industries, and if this really is about communication, what about creating a committee that works with the Sheriff's Department and the warden with the shelter in increasing that communication? There's got to be more to this than just communication. So, and Commissioner Dvorak, I actually am pleased with the way you handled it, because with the way you handled it, brought everyone out today. It put it in public light of what's going on. And I know there's at least a handful of us in here that would be willing to help. How do we fix this situation while keeping Matt? You know, animals' lives are very important. Everybody here has animals' lives. I have 3 cats at home that was rejected by Rescue Village because they were too feral. I assure you they're not feral cats. So we want what's best for the animals. We want what's best for the shelter. Yes, community safety is key. We want to make sure that any safety issues are being addressed. But if this really is about communication between the departments, that's a simple answer. So how do we as citizens find out what the outcome of this is going to be? I guess that's a question for you gentlemen.
Well, a lot of the communication is, really points to our administrator to keep not only peace between the sheriff's office and the dog warden, but from Department on Aging, the engineers, and everything else like that. So,
I meant with the results of what comes from today, with keeping Matt. We want to move forward, or at least I can speak for myself. What are the next steps in making sure Matt keeps that position, all of the volunteers keep their position, and we get them the support and the resources that they need? That $250,000 is very helpful, but Geauga County's huge. Am I incorrect in we have 2 full-time dog wardens and a part-time dog warden servicing all of Geauga County?
Yes.
That seems like a pretty extensive range of calls to take
There's no
in.
highways to get you from one point A to
Exactly. I mean, just coming from an employee standpoint, if my boss gave me that vast workload, I'd be a little overwhelmed too. So as a citizen and person of Geauga County, I want to know, like, how are we going to get him the help and the resources, and what's the next step in finding out and making sure he stays where he is and doing the wonderful things he's doing?
well, today I took a lot of notes and great suggestions with the SOP, and have our administrator work on that, and then the next couple of weeks or whatever, we'll come out and make a news release and go from there.
Okay. Do we have are there any other steps that we can do as citizens to ensure Matt's
No, I think the crowd today really displayed, and really, like you said, I was asking for communication between our administrator, dog warden, and the sheriff's office to try to make it better. That's what's my point.
and the humane officer?
Well, we'll look at all aspects of this big meeting, and
These are just suggestions.
Sure.
Communication seems like a very simple thing, and in light of, I only want to take the media with a grain of salt. You know, there's obviously underlying issues.
Here's the thing I would say, and I'm not going to be here to make the decision, but I'd say it's pretty safe to say, unless you want to make career suicide, that you're going to dismiss Macarito from being the dog warden.
I think that's all I had to say. I just want to.
It's in the newspaper, right here.
I just want to make a
Read
quick
the
apology.
newspaper.
I'm sorry, I made one very unprofessional comment, that there was a young lady in the corner that had been making fun of another speaker. I'm sorry, I just need to apologize that I made a very unprofessional comment about a young lady in the corner that I thought was the incoming new female commissioner, who I have no beef with, that I thought was making fun of one of the speakers. That was not the case. That female commissioner is not even here, as far as I know. Or if she's here, I've got the wrong person. So it was poor Jessica of the Office of Aging. So I was totally mistaken, and I just got really passionate, and I apologize. I was very unprofessional. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so is,
Tell us about the incoming commissioner.
This would be an interesting January 7th.
What's that? Okay. Carolyn, some of the people in the crowd would like you to just introduce yourself. If you want to come up and just, if you have a comment on this. Anywhere you want. Here's the mic so they can hear you.
Can I get a chair?
Sure, pass it down. Oh.
Good afternoon. It's no longer morning. My name is Carolyn Brakey, and I am your new commissioner as of January 2nd. You didn't make the gentleman stand up, I'm going to say thank you. We got it. We want it
No. Okay, real quick, what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and close out this meeting. And I guess before we do that, I just want to just say a few words. First of all, thank you everyone for being here and expressing your thoughts and passion with what we've got. And I think that this opened up a lot of great dialogue for us to move forward. Yep. In close, what I would like to do is as Tim had mentioned earlier, this is his last meeting. Been serving with Tim for 8 years now, and this is a difficult day for me too, because I've lost somebody that I kind of groomed from the beginning, and he's been a great asset for this county, and has always tried to keep the residents and the whole county at heart. And Tim, you're going to be truly missed.
Thank you. Thank you. Just thank you so much. Just real quick, I want everyone to understand Carolyn Brakey is going to do a fantastic job as the next commissioner. Okay, so anybody booing her right now, you're mistaken. But I think you should get to know her. She's very nice, very engaged, very smart. So it's going to be, you guys are in good hands. It's going to be just to say real quick, I just want to thank everybody, especially the employees of Geauga County, the commissioner's office employees. We have the best group. I swear, I came into this thing a complete newbie, and just what an education. Every day you learn something new. That and if you don't stop learning, you're not paying attention, because it really is a incredible job, and it's an incredible county, Geauga County. I've lived here my whole life. I've always thought I knew the ins and outs, but every day different businesses, different organizations. We are really fortunate to live in Geauga County. We're very, very fortunate. And the other elected officials, we've got some great elected officials in the county. I just implore everybody to try and work together and put aside the differences or the aspirations for control or this or that, because it's just not necessary, and it's a waste of energy and waste of time. But again, thank you so much, and I'm not going anywhere. I'll probably be sitting in the crowd now that I know where all the bodies are buried. So, and who knows? I may pop my head up again doing something different. So, thank you so much.
I just want to say that worked with Tim for 6 years now, and we have a respect for each other. He hears me out, I hear him out. And as any board, 3-person board, you're not going to agree on everything all the time. But we all respect each other's thoughts and try to look at it from their point of view. But it's been a pleasure serving with you, Tim.
Thanks, Jim.
And we've had a good time along the way.
Oh, yeah, it was great. I appreciate it. Yep. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, Geauga County, for trusting me.
You're welcome, sir.
Jody.
I just have one quick question. When do you guys have to make a decision about the employment of our fine employees here?
So
January 7th?
When do we have to come back?
January 7th is our reorganizational meeting. And that's actually, what we're going to do here today is we're going to be discussing as part of our work session, just the different roles that everyone is going to be involved in and the responsibilities of each of the commissioners moving forward. So that's part of our work session that we're going to have today with us here. And then January 7th is the day that, we basically, under the statute, every year we have a reorganizational meeting where we basically announce, all of our directors and reappoint our directors for the roles that they play in heading those different departments.
What time?
9:30.
It'll be 9:30 on January 7th.
I would also volunteer
Tuesday.
my services to work on a committee.
I think that's a great
be
idea,
go-between.
and I think that what
I have
I'm.
some experience in that area.
Yeah, trust me, I've taken a lot of good information in with this, of some options and some ideas, and that's probably one of them that would really, I think, support a little bit of everything to be able to have something like that, so that there is, some communication and almost like a liaison group between everybody to be able to manage some of this stuff. And also, just to be clear, I want to tell you that our group of commissioners has always, supported so many things. And I know that the comment was made that we gave money to the fair board, and we've done stuff at the airport. We continue to do a lot of good things, and I think that this, to be totally honest, has opened my eyes. And we've asked, even Matt, many times, is there anything else? And I think that Matt has humbly prided himself and has really given himself the desire to work without burdening any taxpayer dollars to be put into his operation, almost to a fault.
Yeah.
And nothing of negativity towards Matt, but I think that it was a situation where there was never a position of ask and say we would need to do this, we would need to do this. We did the driveways, we did the roof. And I think that this is, at the end of the day, this was a good conversation that I think we all had, because it kind of opened and enlightened all of our outlook to be able to make better decisions moving forward. And as far as, with the shelter, I think that, we need to look at this in a whole different perspective. And sometimes, a situation that everybody looked at was bad, we need to turn around as a good situation and move forward in a positive direction. And I think that that's truly what I've taken out of this. And if you guys didn't care, you wouldn't be here today.
Right.
And if we didn't care, we wouldn't be here today. So I'm willing to do what needs to be done to move forward. And I think that that's the best way I could put it.
Yeah.
On January 7th, is the vote going to be made either for yes or no, and what all the changes will be?
Yes, on January 7th is our reorganization.
Between now and January 7th, for all of us to know what's going on, or how people are thinking, or what a final income might be, or who we need to talk to again, and to correct points of what why we're all here.
Right.
You know what we want. You guys work for us. And when somebody asks you,
Yeah, I think that I'm speaking on my side of this is I've heard you guys loud and clear. I've always had a high regard for Matt, and he's done a lot of great things that I have witnessed personally myself, and I know what he does, and many of those jobs are thankless jobs and things that go unnoticed. So I think that my position is to keep Matt, and that's.
I want to say one thing. I came here today because my husband and I moved here 20 years ago to Geauga County, 24 years ago. It was not what it is now 24 years ago. Nobody cared if you were black, white, straight, gay, Chinese, a Martian, or a liberal, or a conservative. I have never been so embarrassed to live in Geauga County up until I see all of you guys today. Thank you. And Cindy, we held that party year after year after year to raise money for the Geauga County Dog Warden. Do you remember that? We raised tens of thousands of dollars, my husband and I, for the dog warden from 2003 to 2013 or 14. And Cindy and her team would come and help us out. It was a private party in my home in Lake Lucerne. And thank you for all you've done. Like Rusty came from you guys. Do the right thing, folks. Do the right thing.
All right, thank you, everybody. We're going to move on to our work session. Thank you.
Do the right thing.
Not welcome to work session.
His name is Jerry Morgan.